Hey everybody, it's Sweet Truth Thursday, and I'm on time today. So I wanted to make sure that I got on here on time and talk to you guys. And my husband's coming up making noise at the same time that I'm recording. Um, I hope everything's been going well for everybody. I had actually had someone to request a specific topic. And so for my Sweet Truth Thursday, let me just get this out the way. I went old school today. And I just decided to get sweet potato pie because it's the oldie but goodie. And I got it from Sam's. And their sweet potato pie is really good. See, I'm eating it. It's really good. Not too sweet, you know, not quite like my grandma would make it, but it's good. So if you go by Sam's, pick up some sweet potato pie. Um, so somebody asked me to talk about the topic of being a parent and the stresses of being a parent. Um, One of the things that I joke about a lot with people, and I tell my sister, is parenting is one of the best inconveniences that you could ever have. When we think about inconvenience, we think about how you sacrifice. It may not always be comfortable for you, but being a parent is like one of the biggest blessings that you can have. Um, but it does not take away from the fact that it can be very frustrating. So I just want to kind of talk about some of my experiences and some of the things that I've kind of grown into as my kids got bigger, as far as patience and, not being so hard on myself. When I was pregnant with both of my kids, one of the main questions that I thought of was like, what if they don't like me? What if I'm a horrible parent? What if, I mess something up? And then even now, I'm like, for real, Lord, you gave me two people to be responsible for their, for them being adults or raising them the right way. And so one of the first things that I did with my kids was give them back to God because I never thought I would be able to have kids. So it was to me with when I got pregnant with my oldest child, it was like a miracle to me because I just didn't think I would be able to have kids. Not because the doctor ever told me that I wouldn't be able to. It's just that I didn't think that I would be able to. And then with Kennedy, I was like, wow, I got two kids that I'm responsible for. Well, although it is a beautiful thing, if you're truly doing it right, it's very tedious and it's very tiring. When they were younger, I was grateful that I had a good, and even now that I had such a good support group when it came to my children and having people that would come to my rescue for my sanity when it came to kids, because kids are very trying and testy. When they're babies, they're sweet, they're, easy somewhat until they're crying and you don't know what's wrong with them. That's very frustrating, and then when they get to the terrible twos, and then I tell people it does not get easier with age, because then they start to talk and then they have opinions and then they have stuff they want, and then you also have this thing with as being a parent, sometimes you feel guilty, you know, for, you don't want to have to be a disciplinarian all the time. You don't want to have to be tough all the time, but then you can't be too fun. And then you always have somebody criticizing how you're parenting. I remember when my son was little and he was a binky baby. He loved his nook nook. Okay. And he would not turn that nook nook loose until he was like 2. And I specifically remember this couple that had not had children yet saying, oh, well, we're not going to give our kid a pacifier, because those are bad for them and all this other stuff. And just, from even with breastfeeding, I got criticized because I breastfeed my son and my daughter. My son has always been a small kid. Even now he's slim. He's just doesn't have that. He doesn't. he doesn't pick up weight or anything like I do. I wish I had that gene. But I got criticized for that. And that's very hard because you're already hard on yourself about your methods and how you're doing things. Are you doing what's best for your child? Do I discipline them for this, or do I let this go? There is no perfect way to raise a child. There's no perfect way. For me, the best thing has been, like I said, my village. I truly do listen to my parents consult and what they say. I listen to their advice, because they raised me and I think they did a pretty good job, and I incorporate that with some things that I believe that are good as well and sound, and things that I want to make sure that I instill in them myself. I'm just here to encourage you not to be too hard on yourself. Try not to um, be so hard on yourself that you're depriving yourself of the joy at the same time. I think that it's okay to take a break. It's okay to do stuff for yourself. It's okay that sometimes you might yell. Don't feel guilty for that because that just might happen. Kids are very trying. Okay. My kids probably have thought I was psycho so many times, when I was raising them. They were 5 years apart, but they would argue, and one might be yelling and another one might be doing this, and I would just scream, in the middle of traffic, and they would just stop and look at me like, what's her problem? And then within a few seconds, go back to doing whatever it is they're doing. Kids are resilient. You know, there are people that do horrible things to their children, horrible, that don't deserve kids. And those kids still love their parents. So just imagine how much a kid loves their good parent, you know? So try not to be too hard on yourself and just do what is best. Take a break. Don't be afraid to take a break from your kid. Okay? Don't be afraid if you are, a stay-at-home mom, or you're someone that doesn't have to clock in somewhere, take that kid to daycare that you have as a village that is supporting you. Do that for your sanity, and try not to be too hard on yourself when it comes to kids. Now, these teenagers, that's a whole nother beast. My sister has a 2, almost 3-year old, and I, try to tell her regularly the drama that happens with a 17-year old, because I have a 17-year-old daughter. It's nothing like a 3-year old, you know? It is ever changing. There's always a challenge. You always have to, evolve as a parent. But it is a blessing, to be a parent, because there are so many people that wish they had the privilege. But don't get it twisted. It's a challenge. And it takes a commitment that is, oh my God, beyond anything that you could ever do. I am in my 40s and I still rely on my mom and my dad, for advice, for their love. I want their approval because they're my parents. Your kids, they love you in a way that is unexplainable. So try not to be too hard on yourself. Take a break when you can. Treat yourself. Hey, I am one of those people, and I've said this before. I will stop somewhere and, get me a ice cream cone or something just to have that time. When I was a single mom, I took the longest way home to the kids. Sometimes I would sit in my car for an hour just to prepare my mind. They would be coming out to the car, be like, "Mama, you getting out the car?" Just because I knew I had to transition and get myself prepared for dealing with the kids. And lastly, don't try to be perfect. Your kids don't require you to be perfect. You know, Sometimes your imperfections are the best things to show to them so that they'll know, everybody makes mistakes, everyone has things going on. Um, with my kids, I try to be really transparent about a lot that I went through as a younger person to hopefully help them to not go through those things versus just telling them not to do something. Because when they get to be teenagers, that don't work. Just saying don't do it, it don't work. Um, so that's just some of my advice that I have regarding parenting. And just, try not to take yourself so serious, you know? Do your best, pray over them jokers, you know? Um, give them to God, take breaks, still have your identity, be happy. If you can get out sometimes, of course you can't go out all the time when you're a parent. You can't do different things that you might have used to could do, but try to have something for yourself so that you can be the best person that you can be with them when you're with them. Have that quality time. They grow up fast. They listen for an even shorter period of time. Trust me. But do your best, you know? And just know that no matter what, you're going to make mistakes. You'll get blamed for something that you didn't do. People that are rich probably get blamed for not spending time with the kids and just using material things. People that are poor get blamed because they didn't have what they wanted. They thought they needed when they were growing up. They might have had what they needed, but there's always going to be something. But as long as you know you're doing your best to raise a productive human being, hey, that's all that you can do, right? So I just wanted to talk about that and just, kind of elaborate about, being a parent and just acknowledging that it is a hard task, but it is a blessing. Take it from someone that, probably would have had a house full of babies if I was built up that way to do so. But I am blessed to have the two that I have, no matter how crazy they drive me. All right, you guys, submit your questions if you have any. If you have any Sweet Truth Thursday topics that you want to talk about, let me know. Subscribe to Shay Cherie on YouTube. I thank you to the new subscribers. I hope you hang in there with me. Share my videos. Share my funny videos too. Follow me on Instagram under Shay Cherie. And if you have a Facebook page, follow me on Memoirs of an Imperfect Christian. And I will see you guys later. Have a good night.